Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of the Dubailife podcast with myself, Liam Jeffrey, and the new permanent feature, Mr. Richard Crossley. So in this episode, we've got a special guest who's going to be joining us on the show a little later. Her name is Megan Joelle Leach. She's a personal trainer, and hopefully we're going to bring you some health tips and just some all-round general motivation to better your life during this lockdown period and beyond. If you are enjoying these podcasts, then we'd really appreciate if you could leave us a review rating if you're listening on Apple, because it really helps boost the rankings and gets the show out to many more people. So first of all, let's jump straight in and put the world to rights as we always do. How are we doing, Richard? You well?
Yeah, very well.
You good? You had a good weekend?
Isn't it? Yeah, but I'm just saying, what weekend? It all merges into one nowadays, doesn't it?
I know.
And again, where does the time go? We've got to say, we're all probably a little bit bored from this lockdown, which has been extended by another week.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go quickly. And before you know it, you're saying, what? Thursday? Where did the week go?
I know.
Amazing. But yeah, I'm well. Just keeping myself busy. And what are you up to? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think you're right. What you said, it's difficult, isn't it, to separate the weekend from a normal day? It just all seems to merge into one. One thing that I find is that it's easier when you're working in an office. You come home and you have your off time and you can relax. But when you're at home, everywhere's the office. So cutting off and relaxing is difficult. I find I'm getting a lot more done, believe it or not, being at home. Which is interesting. I never thought. I thought I'd find it really hard to get motivated and to do some work, but yeah, I'm finding it. I'm working a lot more.
And again, it's funny, from home, you actually pace yourself a lot longer work day, don't you? You know, whereas before in the office, 8:30 in the morning and like 6 o'clock-ish, right, that's the day done. I feel pretty exhausted. Whereas here, 7 o'clock in the morning, I start with my messages. 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm still sending messages, talking.
You're an early riser, aren't you?
Way of the world.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. Are you watching anything interesting? Are you watching any series to get you through this lockdown?
Yeah, don't talk to me about Tiger King. Dear me, it's everything.
Have you seen it?
I don't. That's just American weirdness. I'm sorry for any American listeners. But, wow, it's just weird, isn't it? So I just couldn't get into that. I gave it one episode and then left it alone.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, no, and again, you tend to get a bit tired of Netflix. So what I tend to do now, and I think I picked this up from you, is actually use YouTube more for the podcasts. You know, and again, what I've decided is, as this has gone on, is try and better myself. And I'm a lot older than you, so I'm old school, like social media. Before it was just like Facebook, and I haven't even touched that. But suddenly now we're looking at Instagram. We're looking at LinkedIn. We're looking at this new thing called TikTok. One of our colleagues who remained was actually caught dancing today. I'm not going to dance for anybody to get a bigger social media following, but it's frightening how we've got to look at all these new platforms and learn.
Yeah.
Hence, this is my Bible, Guy Kawasaki, The Art of Social Media. I recommend that. That's one of the things I'm looking at. But yeah, again, some really good podcasts, and I'm just trying to better myself.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, it's the same. Definitely YouTube. It's amazing. There's some really good content on YouTube. Obviously, I'm into golf, so I watch a lot of the old classic golf highlights and tournaments and series. We've watched Ozark. It's amazing. If you, Ozark's fantastic. If you're looking for something to watch and you haven't seen it, season 3 is probably one of the best things I've seen. One of the best seasons I've seen of any show. So I would definitely recommend Ozark.
Can I just jump in there quickly? Series 1 was brilliant. Ozark, I loved it. Season 2 went very dark and very everything. I didn't like it. I left it. You're now telling me season 3.
Season 3 is amazing. Season 2 I wasn't in love with. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't, like you said, it did get a little bit dark and a little bit stale, and I was wondering where they were going to go with it. But season 3 just blew me away. It was fantastic. And the ending, obviously I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, it's like nothing else. So started to watch Killing Eve.
Oh yeah, Killing Eve. That's got good reviews. Yeah, I've
It's
not
got
seen
good
it, but it's got
reviews,
good
but
reviews.
I don't. I'm not in love with it. I watched the first episode of season 3 yesterday, and I just couldn't get into it. Yeah, I don't know if that's just me. But
Anyway, so we've got this lockdown for another week, haven't we? At least.
yeah, it's confirmed now, isn't it? Definitely another week at least.
And
To
then
be
that brings
expected, I
us into
think.
Ramadan, doesn't it? Yeah. It was expected. I think, although the government are working their socks off, cases are slightly increasing, but I think
Yeah.
that's more because they're testing more people, isn't it? Rather than it's out of control. But as we said last week, the government won't take any chances. They'll stamp this out once and for all, and rightly so, because, we're looking at what's going on in America. It frightens me that already, it's not by any stretch of the imagination conquered there, and yet, Trump's trying to liberate states. The beach was open again in Florida within half an hour. It was packed to the rafters. Just doesn't make sense, And again, as I said, I lost a cousin a couple of weeks ago to this, and also one of my sporting heroes from my team, Leach United, died of it this week, Norman Hunter. And things like that bring it home to you that it's not something that is happening a long way away. It's actually on our doorsteps, and if we don't be sensible now, we'll live to regret it. So yeah, another week, and then on we go from there.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think it's going to be like during Ramadan? Because that's a time where a lot of people get together in big gatherings, and families go and spend time with other families, and communities are open.
I think the common sense thing to do is to keep us on lockdown through Ramadan. And again, that will virtually keep the kids off school until the following September, and it'll just, I think, give the entire country one big opportunity to finish this as best it can be, and then we can start of June, start looking to pick up a normal life, if there's such a thing. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good way to think about it. I listened to someone the other day, and they were talking about, with Ramadan, they fast. So they fast with water and food, don't have any food. And this, I guess, is another kind of fasting. It's almost social fasting. And it's something that, it adds another edge to it. But I guess it makes the relief of it all. Once everything's over, it's more, you appreciate things. And that's what Ramadan's all about, isn't it?
Indeed. What about business? How are you finding business at the minute?
Business. So last week I had 17 leads, which is pretty much back up to what I would normally get, if not a little bit more, to be honest. So the inquiries are there for sure. There's definite interest in the market right now. And I think, like we were discussing the other day, a lot of people are now sat at home, and it's the perfect time when they're together, husband and wife, and they can sit down and they've got time to discuss, the next move and what they want to do. So definitely inquiries are up, I would say, overall. Yeah. I also had even had a viewing yesterday. I didn't do the viewing. I didn't go out the house, but it was a rental, so that they needed to move. So they booked a permit. They put that it was an emergency house move, and they got the permit agreed. And they went out and did the viewing, and they looked at some 5 bedrooms that I had in Sidra. So It's been, I mean, I can't complain, to be honest. Really busy, probably as busy as ever, just without the viewings, without the meetings.
No,
how about yourself?
Same with me. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, or probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was very busy with short-term rental deals. A lot of luxury villas on the Palm, furnished on a 1 to 3 month basis. They were going like hotcakes.
Yeah.
People wanted. Perhaps they were trapped in Dubai, or they just thought Dubai was a place to see this out, and they wanted seclusion. So I was very, very busy. I think that's died off now, and I've suddenly got busy again with everyday business. And there are ways and means. People always have a need to move. So busy at the minute. Hopefully, going to conclude a couple of small deals in Anantara and Soho. The owners there are doing very well for us. They are, for example, making things happen. They're going to take on the bills in their name and get reimbursed from the tenant once normality returns. So instead of tenants worrying about getting the chiller switched on, or Ejari and D, where it's a little bit easier, but the chiller's the big thing. The owners there, again, like everybody, they've adapted. You and I have adapted in how we do our viewings and our negotiations. The owners are adapting to make sure that they do as much as they can to get deals done.
Yeah,
So
they
yeah,
seem to be
I'm
really
busy as
accommodating.
well. Yeah.
It's
And
a really
again, I
good
think you and I were talking the other
forward.
day, and isn't there so many tools now to allow people to actually do virtual tours and even virtual buying?
Yeah, you basically can't do virtual buying. Everything can be done remotely now. There's nothing. I mean, technically, you don't need to go out of your own house to buy a property here in Dubai. Um, the good thing, like we mentioned, is that for a lot of the communities, the types and the layouts are pretty standardized. So it's not like perhaps in the UK or America where every house is unique and different. You know what you're getting. It's just about the location. You've got virtual viewings. So if you've managed to get into the house before, you can have a 3D viewing where you click through each room and you have a 360 view of the room, and you get a real sense of space on those virtual viewings, those 360 viewings. I find them really useful. Obviously, we've got walkthrough videos as well, which help. And in terms of the process, the land department have been quite flexible and quite fast with how they've come up with this new process whereby everyone can do the transactions. They have a Zoom call with the buyer and seller to verify identification of each party, and then everything's processed online. And I think, like we said before, coming out of this, I think the system will be better. I think the whole process will be better. I'm sat in transfer offices with buyers and sellers for hours at a time, and I'm thinking to myself, come on, we're in 2020 now. Surely there must be a better, faster way to do this. Everyone's busy. We don't need to waste 3-4 hours sometimes of everyone's day. We're all busy. So maybe this is going to be an improvement on the current system. Maybe it helps.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, I've not done as many sales as you, been concentrating on rentals mainly.
Yeah.
But the few sales I have done, I've gone down to like the transfer centres and thought, wow, this is a bit long-winded, shall we say?
It's very
But
long-winded, yeah.
yeah. So again, I'm sure we want to be the first paperless city, don't we? Very shortly. So again, this is going to be another way forward. Time, saves a lot of time, a lot of energy. It was a little bit frustrating. You've done a good deal, and then you're sitting with clients. And my last sale was with a lovely German couple.
Yeah.
And of course, the German efficiency. Richard, why are we sitting here for 3 hours? What's going on? And I'm sorry, just bear with us. It all ended very nicely, but as I say, it was just a strange end to a 2-week transfer. From seeing it to buying it took 2 weeks, and then a lot of that time was the final day of the transfer. But all good.
I completely agree. It can be very frustrating and a little bit awkward sometimes. There's only so much small talk you can come up with, and if after 3 hours, you can get a little bit repetitive, I guess. But we do our best.
It's interesting what you were saying, though, isn't it? Because here in Dubai, everything's pretty much the same age, isn't it?
Yeah.
What, 1990s onwards, majority built after 2000. So once you've seen one, you've pretty much seen them all.
Yeah.
And again, in England, you start from 300-year-old thatched cottages.
Exactly.
And of course, you've got to see it. You've got to have a proper survey done to know what you're letting yourself in for. But here, it's pretty seamless construction. Concrete on the concrete floor slab. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And again, we've done some, and we're seeing as well in the press, aren't we, that there are some good quality sales happening at the moment in Dubai in the last 2 or 3 weeks in this lockdown. Remind me what's gone recently.
So there's been Emirates Hills, there's been Jumeirah Golf Estates, one of the hillside villas, I believe, has transferred or is sold. I don't know if it's transferred yet. I think another Meadows and Lakes and the Palm Jumeirah as well. A villa on the Palm Jumeirah is sold. So there's definitely movement. I mean, interesting fact for you, Richard. Last week, officially announced via Property Finder, 510 sales transactions in Dubai, worth a total of just over 1 billion dirhams. Now, for me, sounds fantastic, but we've got to remember that some of these sales may have happened before the lockdown period. So they might
would some be remortgages as well?
Yeah, I would imagine that quite a large percentage of those would have been mortgages. Yeah, a lot of the sales that happened over the past year, mortgage buyers, more and more mortgage buyers were coming to the market, more first-time buyers. So yeah, it's been good.
But no, I said, are they remortgages? You know, so you
Oh,
already own the
remortgages.
property, go for a remortgage.
Yeah, the data doesn't go into that much detail.
I see. But it's
Good
still a
point.
lot more.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say about 50 or 60, not that many, not 500
it
plus.
seems. Yeah, it just seems a huge amount
Yeah.
of transactions.
Yeah,
Um,
and again, going back to it, I wonder how many of those would be virtual sales where a buyer so actually trusts the word of an advisor,
yeah,
a broker, a good quality broker, and just
yeah,
goes with it because fortune favours the brave.
exactly. It definitely does.
Yeah.
We've-
So if you're
yeah,
brave enough, you see the right deal, and you do your due diligence, and you get good advice from your broker. What's
yeah.
stopping you?
Yeah, I think as well, a lot of people are familiar with the city already. A lot of the smart investors kind of know what they're looking for prior to this lockdown, and yeah, they're ready to go. Like you said, they know the areas, they know the types, and they know the value. So when they see that there's deals available and they're dealing with a broker they can trust, then why not go ahead? Fortune does favour the brave, and now's the time to be brave if you can get the right deal, I think.
I was
Um,
speaking to quite a prominent broker on the Palm,
yeah,
and she was saying, don't be thinking that there are out-and-out bargains on every single front of the Palm on the villas, because
yeah,
these are where a lot of wealthy owners actually live themselves. They're
yeah,
under no pressure to sell, so they're not. There's not very many sort of. Everybody seems to want the famous distressed deal, don't they?
yeah.
Distressed deal. Find me a distressed deal.
I
Do
know.
they really exist?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? When you first speak to a buyer, they almost tell you the market's going down, and across the board, I haven't really seen it, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I do think, like we've discussed, there will be some sellers out there that need to sell and will be able or willing to drop to those, distressed level prices. But across the board, most sellers haven't yet been on the phone crying and calling up and saying, we need to sell, we need to sell, we need to drop our prices. So, we can't always look at it from one side, from the buy side. I think that the sellers have already lost a lot over the past 3-4 years. And I still think that there's great value across the market. So I don't know how much further prices are going to fall. That's the big question, isn't it? But it does depend
Yes,
on the individual seller's situation.
indeed.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So some interesting facts. So we've seen the performance for the first quarter. So we've had some sales data released, which I've been looking over. Pretty impressive for the first quarter of this year. I mean, very, very positive. Total sales transactions, 10,243, which is a 9.78% increase from the previous quarter. So the fourth quarter of 2019, which was also a great quarter historically. So, I mean, up to this point, up to the lockdown, the market was booming. There was a lot of transactions happening. And even recently, I mean, March, we had 1,209 mortgage registrations across the board, which is fantastic. And this is the highest number since October 2019, and 24%, or almost 25% more than March last year. So
Do you think it's because, again, I think you were telling me this morning about your favourite developer, Emaar and Dubai Hills. They're not standing still, are they? If you stand still, you get taken over. Yeah. I mean, just today they're announcing some quite exciting new payment plans, aren't they?
Exactly, yeah. They're being quite proactive in this situation, which I guess you have to be. So they're coming out with potentially a 5-year post-handover payment plan, probably a 20-80% payment plan for some of their projects. So whilst they're still charging the original prices, they're not dropping the value, they're extending the payment plans out to the maximum they can, and offering a very flexible payment plan for people. So, and some of those projects are going to be villas and apartments which are ready now. So people can move in just like they would with a mortgage, pay over 5 years. And if they can manage the payments over 5 years, they don't have to pay the interest that the banks would charge, which is a huge saving.
I'm laughing because I came to Dubai, as you know, at the start of 2015. That is just, can you imagine 5 years later having that 5 years ago, that payment plan? pay 20% and move in. That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I think we were going to discuss this in a second, so I'm sorry for getting ahead of myself, but how the market's changed from 2015 to now, and what people like the developers have had to do to get the buyers still buying, etc. 20% now, 80% after moving, and that's EMAR. Amazing, and it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is amazing how much the market swings, isn't it? It really is in a pretty short period of time. It's incredible. You never thought you'd see it.
Tell the listeners and tell me again, because we were discussing this last night. As you're a marina boy, tell me what's happening in the marina.
Yeah, again, some interesting figures. So, 2008, the average price of a one-bedroom apartment, 130,000 dirhams. After the crash, fell down to 63,000 dirhams in 2011. After that, up into 2013, the prices went as high as 113,000. So they didn't quite reach the peak. And then by the end of last year, they were back down to 58,000 dirhams for an average one bedroom in the marina. So incredible swings in prices over the past few years. It's amazing.
Indeed. And again, we are in the unknown, aren't we, to which way it's going to go. Well, I think we know which way it's going to go for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But then how it's going to level itself out and stay constant. 'Cause that's what we all want. That's the whole idea of the land department and RERA, isn't it? To have a pretty constant, mature housing market where investors, buyers, sellers, whoever, tenants and landlords for that matter, they all know pretty much what they're dealing with, But again, as going back to what we said last week, Dubai is still an excellent place for an investor, isn't it? Look at the ROI.
And just all-round value for prime spots within this city. It's unrivaled, isn't it, really? I don't think you can get anywhere like it in terms of yields. Over 6% on average you can get here in Dubai still. And price per square foot of prime residential real estate is unbeatable.
In a city that's safe and lovely to be in. Which, like a lot of tenants, when they come, they need to know that. We're not asking people to live in central London, or we're not asking people to live in expensive Tokyo or wherever. Dubai still has that quality of life coupled with affordable rents now, but still giving a landlord investor a very nice return.
Exactly. Right, Richard, it's now time. I'm going to try and add Megan to the conversation. So let's see if this works.
Fantastic, because the way my biscuit barrel's been going, I need some really professional advice.
How to stay in shape. So let's see. Is she on the call? Oh, there you go.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, Megan?
Hi, Megan. How are you?
Hi. How are you today?
Very good.
Really,
desperately needed your help.
Yeah. So, honestly, Wi-Fi is an issue in Dubai.
I know. It seems to be working okay just now. You can hear me okay, Megan? Yeah?
I can, yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, really enjoyed the yoga burn class last week. Wanted to mention that. I'm still feeling it. And it's surprising because I've been doing quite a lot of exercise. I've been doing the stairs almost every day. And talk about Richard's health fitness routine in a minute, but I've been doing the stairs quite regularly. So I've been doing 52 steps up and down Marina Gate Tower 1. But the class we did today was intense. I can still feel it, which is amazing.
So tell me, what does Tanya do? Who does she work for, and what does she do? What does she specialise in?
Megan.
Megan, sorry.
Megan. Come on, Richard.
It's Megan. But yes, so a little bit about myself. I work with the platform Dubai. So this is a fitness company here in Dubai. I teach fitness as well as yoga, as well as dance. So I was brought here by this company. I've been a trainer for over 10 years. This is something that I'm passionate about. So that's what I'm currently doing. Is we've now moved, based on, of course, the lockdown, we've moved into the virtual world. which has been definitely a unique opportunity to connect with people personally online. But yeah, so Liam took my yoga sculpt class the other day with Kelsey. And so I was really excited to hear that he enjoyed the class.
Yeah, it was really good.
Ooh.
How did you first get into this industry, Megan? What first attracted you to the health and fitness?
Yeah. Well, for me, so I grew up playing a lot of sports. I was an athlete. I grew up in a small town in Canada called Weyburn, Saskatchewan. So, it was pretty common, small town, lots of sports, lots of that type of thing. That was part of your social life as well. And then, so I always had a really physically active life. I became a professional dancer in my 20s. So I was working in the entertainment industry in Toronto. So I moved to Toronto in my 20s. And I needed a part-time job, to be honest with you. I needed something, to supplement my income in between auditions and gigs. And I always loved the gym. I mean, I go daily. I'm an advocate of health and wellness. So when I spoke to an instructor at a gym I was working out at, and she was telling me about it as a profession, I was like, oh, that sounds really fun. So I started just casually teaching dance classes first, because that was sort of my forte. And then I started taking certificates in, yoga and Pilates and group fitness classes. And eventually I actually got hired onto this company called Hard Candy Fitness, which was Madonna's company. And so, yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, it was a really great opportunity in Toronto. So I worked with them for about 4 years, teaching a variety of everything from cycle to boot camps to yoga to dance. And it just eventually turned into a profession for me. I was kind of doing dance on the side then, and it became sort of more of a lifestyle. And I really loved the feeling. I got to help people every day and keep myself healthy as well, So I think fitness for me has become beyond a lifestyle into a profession in a positive way.
Nice. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you first come to Dubai? What made you think about Dubai as a new place to live and work?
Yeah, so I actually being based in Toronto, I kind of thought about moving to LA. That was sort of my next step. I wanted to get into, sort of the epicenter of fitness in the world, really, which is California.
Yeah.
And so I met a few people, and I went down there, and I was sort of attending gyms that had people that I had worked with from the States that kind of knew me. And I met a recruiter, and I went back to Toronto, and I sort of made plans. Okay, I'm going to probably look at California within the next year. And then he messaged me randomly saying, I have an opportunity with a company that's recruiting people in Dubai. And I thought, okay, well, I haven't worked abroad yet. I thought that would be a cool opportunity. Yeah. So this conversation started sort of like mid to 2018. Okay. And then by October of 2018, I was here. So I signed a 6-month contract, originally a 6-month contract with the platform. And then, I don't know, I just kind of really enjoyed the vibe in Dubai. I'm a beach girl. I love the beach. I love the hot weather. I'm into that. Being a Canadian, you wouldn't think that, but I like it. So
Megan, I was just about to say, being Canadian, you're a beach girl. I
know.
So what do you think to Dubai? What were your first impressions? How do you find living in Dubai? Tell us just your general feel of the city.
The vibe, yeah, for sure. I mean, okay, so, I was looking stuff up before I came, and I saw some negatives and I saw some positives in my own mind, right? But I had some really great conversations with people before I came that were like, don't trust all what you see. Like, it really is a cool place once you get there. So once I arrived, and I started to meet the expat community and all these kind of really cool people from all over the world who just kind of wanted a different opportunity from their own country, and so I actually have really enjoyed it. I've had a great time. Like, I've met people from all over the world. I've made amazing friends. The company I work with, they're innovative, they're creative. I mean, here we are in lockdown, but we're still able to work, which is fabulous. We're able to provide a service to people here. But I think Dubai is cool just because it's got a lot of entrepreneurial energy. And I love that it's super international. So like the fact that my classes are full of people from all over the world is just really cool. Like I feel like fitness is a universal language. So it's something that's easily translated to people from all over the world, which I think is really cool. And I just really like the vibe here, you know, there's good energy here for sure.
Cool.
I love that. Really, yeah, it's really interesting to see. Obviously, I've been here 7 years now, and yeah, 7 years. Crazy how fast it goes, but it's interesting to see how other people, you know, moved over to the city and what they thought of it at first. I think for me, most of my friends that came here, they found it difficult to start with. Did you find it difficult adapting and moving into life in Dubai?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think there's like this first, like, you know, like there's a bit of the, like the loneliness factor because you just, you know, you've moved to another place. You don't know a lot of people. There's, you know, cultural adjustments as well that you're making. You're kind of like, oh, that's different and interesting. I definitely think like it took about 6 months for me to really kind of feel comfortable. I will say though, because I was doing something I love, it wasn't a huge, you know, like I was brought over to do something that I love to do, you know, so teaching fitness is my passion. Yeah, 100%. So,
that you know,
but I do think that like, yeah, I think that I think for Dubai, there's almost like a year period. And then once you hit that year, you start to have this tipping point where you go, oh, I feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
And I think it's because
I know you mean. It's like you're in or you're out.
You yeah, you're like, hey, let's go for it. You've got a group of friends you can call for dinner. You got a group of friends you can go out to some cool club with, or go do fitness, whatever your passion is. I definitely like, it took like, you know, I've been here over a year now, so I feel comfortable enough here, to be honest with you, to stay here during lockdown. You know, like that really says a lot. You know, I was like, do I go back to Canada? And I was kind of like, no, I think I'm in a good place right now. It's safe here. It's organized. There's good energy everywhere. So, I mean, we're all in a weird space right now, but I mean, we're all doing the best to like stay connected and stay healthy, you know?
So that brings us on nicely to the next thing. How, in this unusual time, have you adapted your business? Or you said virtual, is that one-on-one classes or group classes? Are you using Zoom? I mean, what technology are you using?
Yeah. And, you know, like, I'm not going to say I'm a techie person. You know, I really love people. That's why I'm in the business I'm in. But I think our business made a really smart pivot to go online immediately. You know, we have a very strong client base. We have very personal relationships with our clients. We have a strong community at the platform. So I think our CEO's decision to not shut down and to say, hey, just because our gym is closed doesn't mean we can't continue to provide you a service. So what we're doing now is a full virtual online classes. We also offer personal training as well. So if you want to work with a trainer one-on-one, it would be in a Zoom session, just like we're doing here. And same thing with our group classes. So when Liam took my class, he took my class through Zoom. But the cool thing is, you know, if you put your video on, I can actually literally correct you. So that it's like being in a class, you know. And then you have the music, you have the vibe. A lot of the people have told me it's still a very awesome experience, and they love the fact that they can like be on a conference call at work, and then I can go, you know, to Megan's yoga class at 11 and drop in, and they don't actually have to go to the gym. They can just put their kid on and do it at home. So I think that the adjustment is, you know, I think it starts with having an acceptance in the self. Okay, my reality is legally I have to be in my house. So how can I have a healthy life and still maintain a community and like a bit of a social life? So I think considering our gym was so, you know, like it was a vibe, you know, people came in and they felt good, and it was like, hey girl, you know, hey, good to see you. So now we're trying to create that same energy online so that people are motivated to still stay healthy while we're in lockdown.
Interesting. It'd be interesting to see how Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the business develops after, when we return to some kind of normality, whether we'll go back to the old-fashioned welcome to the classroom, come on in everybody, or we'll keep doing this virtual training, or whether it'll be a mix of both. I think it's probably going to be a mix of both, because we do need that social contact, don't we? I'm missing now. You know, I look forward to every 3 days when I can go and stroke things in Choitrums or Waitrose. You know, I need social contact.
That time when grocery shopping became the biggest deal ever. Like, that's literally Dubai right now. You're like, oh my God, I get to go get cash out today. I think, like, honestly, I totally agree with you. And we've even talked about that as a company, you know, that the reality is, for some people, online training might be their only option because of their random schedules. And, you know, a lot of people in Dubai work internationally. You know, a lot of my friends are on conference calls with the States and then here, you know, so their availability to reach primetime classes here at night might not happen. But if they can go online, now they can still participate in that exercise. So I agree with you. I think it's going to become a balance between the two, because somebody who maybe couldn't make that morning class before now can go in online. But then maybe at night, it's like, hey, let's all go to class together, you know? I think the reality with social distancing, things will be different at first. You know, I don't think we're going to be allowed to do a lot of mass stuff the way that Dubai loves to do, which is sad. But, you know, I think probably classes will have to be smaller just based on the regulations and stuff. But I think that to see the positive in it, for me personally, I know that some people are actually becoming more active due to online classes. So yeah, people who previously were intimidated to go to a gym are tuning into my classes. Yeah. And I think that is really positive. So if you feel more comfortable in your own home, then it's a really good option, you know? And yeah, so I think that's like, believe me, I had just like the way, you know, when you first come to Dubai and you're kind of like, oh, you have that resistance factor. When this went down, I had a big resistance factor. I was like, oh, you know, my God, like, I'm not teaching, I'm not with people all the time. You know, I was really like, just not feeling it at first. But then once I started to see, I'm getting DMs from people. Oh my God, your class was so great today. And it made me feel so good. And even though I'm not seeing them, just knowing that it's helping them get through this makes me go, okay, this is a positive thing, you know?
Richard, you're definitely going to have to get involved with these classes. How can people
Richard, you gotta get
virtual classes, and what packages do you offer?
Okay, so the virtual classes are super easy to get into. So the platform has an application, the Platform Dubai. So you can just go to your phone and download the app, or we have a website, the Platform Dubai website. It's a really user-friendly. You can go in there and right away, there's actually somebody who directly responds to you on WhatsApp. So you can WhatsApp, hey, I'm interested in classes. They'll get back to you and send you all the deets. But really simply, I would say your best deal right now is our unlimited package, which is just under 400 dirham. Like, let's be honest, it's a brunch, right? So for 400 dirham, you have access to 20 virtual classes per day. So we're not just running 2 or 3 classes, we're running a full schedule so that people from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. have a full option of classes that they can take, unlimited. So with just that small investment, you have access to a full library of live classes with trainers who love to do what they love to do.
Awesome.
What classes? What types of classes do you do?
Yeah, for sure. So at the platform, we offer yoga, we offer Pilates, we offer bar. So that's our sort of mind and meditation. And that's all different branches of yoga as well, from yin yoga to yoga sculpt. So that's your mind body category. And then we also have HIIT, high intensity interval training. We have HIIT and strength. We have core classes, we have boxing, shadow boxing. Like, really, it's a full range. And then we also offer cycling as well. Wow. So something else our business did was we actually rented our bikes out to people at home. So like right after this, I'm actually going to tape 2 cycle classes that people can tune into and ride with me, which is so cool. So the thing about platform that was attractive to me when I first heard about the company was its diversity. I teach so many different things. I teach cycling, I teach HIIT, I teach bar, I teach yoga. All of these things make me, excited about the fact that I get to work at a company where all of those things are exposed to everyone. So I think it's cool because even if you've never taken a bar class before, with an unlimited package, you can just try stuff you've never tried before,
Sounds amazing. Sounds good.
What kind of stuff do you like to do, Richard? What's your favorite?
No, seriously. I am of the senior age now, so don't laugh, Liam. I'm trying to avoid jokes about biscuit barrels, but luckily I live in Jumeirah, quite near to Kite Beach, so of course I like to walk down the beach, etc. I'm a member of Fitness First, which I go to when I can sort of rouse myself to get off my sofa. I actually go to Fitness First, and once I'm there, I actually enjoy it. But it's just actually getting over the doorstep into the gym. That's the big thing, isn't it? Yeah. And again, other bits and pieces like that. I have a bike that hasn't been touched in about a year. So, but yeah, all good stuff. But come on, here I am. I'm trapped indoors. What do I do? Give me what is just a general healthy lifestyle unit? Just some general tips on surviving this lockdown.
For sure. Okay. I think one of the most important things to do is to communicate. So you need to be in touch with people daily. Like, I think that isolation can be a good thing, but it can also be negative if you know that you're the type that maybe needs a little bit more motivation. So I think you need to communicate with the people around you. If you're in lockdown by yourself, talk to someone every single day. Hey, how are you? How are you doing? Just reach out to people. We have social media. It's an incredible way to connect to people. And everyone's in the same boat right now. So don't be surprised if someone really just wants to talk to you too today, So my first thing is communicate. My second thing is hydrate. Make sure you're drinking lots of water because, first of all, we have a high AC capacity in Dubai. So it's very important that you keep yourself hydrated because there's a lot of dry air moving through you, and you need to, in order for your immunity system to stay, healthy, you need to be hydrated. You should be drinking not just beverages that are room temperature, but warm beverages daily, because that helps to, again, cleanse and clean. Just think of it this way, why are you in lockdown in the first place? Because of health. So I would say create a daily routine for yourself so that you're not kind of waking up going, oh, just another day. When are we out of this? You can create a schedule for yourself that's based around health, and giving yourself an hour dedicated towards exercise, an hour cooking, maybe it's an hour journaling, like whatever you feel helps to create structure in your life. I mean, that's why we offered up these classes online, was to give people something to look forward to in their day, or not even that, just to plan their day around, So a lot of my girlfriends said they were lacking structure when the lockdown first happened. They felt like their routine was lost. So it's about reestablishing that stability within your home. And something I've been taking initiative with too is like with my roommates is just again, communicating with people and trying to inspire people, be a motivator. If the people in your life aren't naturally into fitness, maybe it's inviting somebody once a day to work out with you. I mean, be mindful of your social distancing, but I think you can be proactive in saying, hey, I'm going to do this class. You want to join me? Maybe you both go to the same Zoom class together, and it's something fun that you do the way that you would have done in the past. I think you can totally embrace lockdown as long as you understand that your health should really be a priority in this time. It's not about like sitting and, you know, just becoming a couch potato. I think you can totally have something like expand and become like truly a better version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about that last week, that, you know, we're all trying to better ourselves, you know, become a better person, spending this time wisely. And again, we've all got tired of Netflix after a while. So we're just talking before you came on. I'm into podcasts more. I'm into reading more, trying to become a better person.
Yeah.
I love that. Like what you just said is exactly it. Like we can mind numb ourselves and pass time and truly waste time, or we can take what I would say is a great opportunity to self-reflect and look into yourself a little bit deeper and start to look at the people around you who are actually inspiring you and have those people at the forefront of your day. You know, if there's a podcast where this guy really is like, oh man, he speaks to me, it makes me feel good, make sure you tune into him daily, make him a part of your routine. Yeah. If there's an instructor who inspires you and makes your body feel good, make sure you tune into them daily, you know, and that way you've got nothing but good energy around you. Even though we're in, you know, our own isolated space, you're surrounding yourself with that positivity, and that will make you a better version of yourself. 100%.
Love that. Indeed. Really good advice that I hope everyone takes on board and betters themselves during this lockdown period. I'm conscious on time, so we're not going to keep you too much longer, but we've got a few questions that I wanted to go over. First of all, can you target a fat burn? So a lot of people will say, you know, I'm putting the weight on in a certain area on their body. Can they target that specific area?
That's a really good question. I think
put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, no. I think one reality check for fat burning and targeting is it's going to be very client specific.
Yeah.
So understanding that each of our metabolisms work differently. Yeah. So, and that depends on a lot of different things. It depends on age, it depends on gender, it depends on body type. So, you know, there are definitely ways, I believe personally, that you can definitely target specific fat burning zones, but also being in tune with your body and maybe understanding your body type. Yeah. So, you know, there's ectomorph, there's endomorph, there's mesomorph. Yeah. So different people carry fat in different areas of their body based on their body types. Okay. But I do think that with targeted training, you can definitely do that. Awesome. I think I've always said it's like the way I see the body is the way that I see music. I see every body piece or body part as like a note to a song. Yeah. And in order to become, you know, like a master of music, you have to understand each note. And I think with our bodies, we don't take time to get to know our bodies, like individually, you know. Yeah. And the more you know, the more you will target the training specifically that you need for your objectives. So if you want to play the guitar, you learn every note, you know. Yeah. If you want to get that certain body type or achieve that certain goal, you learn your body and then you play the song that you want to play. You do the workout that works for you. I think what happens in the business is there's a lot of general wash workouts, and instead of people really tuning into what they really want to achieve. So like, let's say I'm targeting like fat burning zone in the belly, you know. Yeah. Again, looking at your body type, how does that work? What workouts are like going to zone and build the muscle as well as release the fat from there? You know, so as opposed to doing a general wash workout that maybe you didn't realize was actually just working your legs, now you're actually targeting your core. So I think that's like the key. And when I train people, those are the conversations I have. And one thing I like about the platform is because we offer such a range, I can even recommend to clients, like, take these classes for your objectives.
Yeah, I guess that's the benefit, isn't it? On those personal one-on-one classes, you really get to know your clients. And like you said, everyone's different in certain ways. So it's a good to really understand what works for you and what you're trying to achieve. Definitely. Really useful.
Yeah. And knowing that it's going to be a step-by-step journey.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people with fat burning, I think a lot of people with fat burning, to be honest with you, it becomes so like, I need this off now. There's a lot of anxiety surrounded by fat burning, and truly it's progressive. In a healthy way, you can gradually lose fat. You really can. And by the way, that's going to be really diet based. So that's the big thing.
I heard, Megan, I heard that it's 30 to 40% exercise, 60 to 70% nutrition. That's pretty much, isn't it?
It is, right? So, and that's the thing, is that the balance that's achieved through eating, not just well, but at the right times in synchronicity with when you're working out, so that when your metabolism's at its peak, you're in your fat burning zone. That's, so it's really about that understanding how the body works and how to feed the body, and then how the body will burn that effectively, so that's like, and believe me, like I've gone through lots of different phases in my own body and my own journey. Personally, right now I'm vegetarian, but I'm not going to say everybody needs to be vegetarian or anything. I just found for me, it offered up everything that I was looking for personally, with feeling lethargic or heavy with certain meat products. So once I embraced the vegetarian and became more aware of what my body needed, that worked for me. I'm not going to say it's going to work for everyone, but it took a lot of self-reflection. And I used to journal what I used to write or used to eat daily. And then I would kind of journal like my mood and how I felt, and also physically how I felt. And I started to see the patterns within myself. And then I, gradually broke down what was going to be best for me. And then the cool thing is you don't have to do that by yourself. We have professionals who could totally guide you through that. You can get people who can advise you on your personal diet, people who can advise you on your exercise regime based on your goals. And I think like my biggest thing I really want people to take away from just even this talk with you guys is your health is an investment. And it's the greatest investment you'll ever make in your life, because you've only got one body, and you wake up with it every day and you go to bed with it every night.
Yeah, it's your vehicle through this journey.
It's your vehicle, like when I started to prioritize and love my body the way I do now was when I saw the physical changes. I felt better. I don't know. It just, now I feel good, and I look better. I look healthier. I look stronger. All the aesthetic things I wanted started to become a reality for me. But it came through, it just came through that journey, that understanding.
Fantastic. So we'll round things up now. So this is the Dubailife podcast. So come on, give us your perfect day in Dubai, starting with breakfast all the way through to dinner. What places do you love? What spots do you like to hang out? Tell us about the perfect Dubai day.
So I'm trying to think of like some of the best days I've had so many great days here,
Yeah.
I think like for me, I like to wake up and exercise right away. That's something I'm passionate about. So I would start my day teaching a class.
Yeah.
And then I love to do, there's great, breakfast places. I personally, I generally fast. So I'll usually won't eat until 12 or 1 every day. So there's lots of great lunch spots that I love in JBR. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Oh, there's so many places I love. The acai bowl. The acai spot's one of my favorites. I love it. It's so fun. It's just like, it's such a vibe there, and people, it's just like a nice little sit down spot. There's just so many great places here, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Is that
And
the
then in
one
the
in Marina? Is
afternoon,
that the one in Marina Gate? Side Spot.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side Spot's awesome. I love that place. You know, just go. They've got a good vibe there. It's relaxed. It's chilled.
Yeah.
I think like for me too, I really like going to the beach. So, you know, an afternoon at the beach, depending on the weather, of course, is always something that I love to do. Just catch a little bit of vitamin D, relax, hang out. And then I generally teach at night as well, which I love. And, you know, I get to see people and motivate them. And then as far as the nightlife here, I mean, there's just so much offered up. I can think of I love like Marina Social. I love to go out for food there. There's such good restaurants on the marina. I live here in the marina area. So, and then, you know, cruising around to, I mean, we've gone to pretty much every club that you can think of, if that's like your vibe, you know. I'm personally a non-drinker, but that doesn't stop me from participating in like the vibe that is Dubai. You know, I've never felt any way about going to a club and dancing. I personally love to dance. So, you know, I like to go out to lots of different spots here and dance. And I think the cool thing is people here are social, they're fun. You know, you always go out, people are having a good time. And then, you know, depending on my day, sometimes I prefer to do something more outdoorsy. I've gone to like, you know, Al Qudra and gone cycling there, and I've really loved that. So
really good. Did
yeah, I think
action drill.
Yeah. I've actually thought about rollerblading it. I really want to rollerblade.
Can you do that?
I don't know. I want to find out.
I think it's 80 kilometers. I think it's 80. That would be you could do that for charity.
That could be a serious situation. Another thing I like to do is wake surf as well and wakeboard. So,
nice.
Yeah, I think what's, you know, you kind of go with the vibe. Like if I try to have a balance, you know, so one day I may be more doing an outdoor activity, and then the next day I'm like going to a fun brunch with friends. I really think the cool thing about Dubai is it offers up both things. You know, if you want to get that nightlife and that kind of urban vibe, it's here. If you want more of like a beachy, chilled vibe, it's here. And then of course, like the health industry is awesome. So I've made just so many friends. Like I like to go to other classes and take other classes, meet new people. I think in lockdown, I think my ultimate day in lockdown, in Dubai would be, you know, doing the same thing, like teaching, probably tanning on my balcony because I can't go to the beach, and then having a Zoom party with friends.
Have you had many Zoom parties?
I've definitely had quite a few Zoom parties.
Yeah.
And I think it's like fun because people are figuring out ways to socialize. And like we had just had like one of my best friend's birthday parties the other night, which was so fun. And we literally hung out for like 4 hours on Zoom. Like it was fun.
Yeah.
And I think I'm getting to know my friends better now than I ever have.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I'm speaking to my family much more now than I did before.
Yeah. So I think like the positives to take out of all this are we're connecting to each other in a different way because we're all vulnerable. And I think like this is a cool time to make some changes and reconnect with people. And yeah, like don't let it get you down, you know?
Yeah.
But I think Dubai has a lot to offer people. And what I really love is it's just safe. You know, I feel safe here. So
that's a big thing, isn't it? Very safe.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's challenging right now because a lot of the fun of Dubai is taken away from us, which is all those dope activities that happen here. But there are a lot of really good people here. And I'm learning that very quickly because I'm making friends even now online who are like, how are you? How are you feeling? How is it being away from home? Like people here are very kind. So I think as long as we all take care of each other during this time, then we're all going to come out better versions of ourselves. And this place is just going to rock even more.
Very true.
Love that.
Very true, Megan. Very true indeed. And I've got to say, what a positive person you are.
So much
sort of like,
positivity to start off the week on a Sunday morning.
Isn't it? I would just dread to think what she's like after 50 minutes of yoga burn, when she's still like bouncing around saying, "Come on, Liam, stretch one more time, come on." No, but very positive.
Fantastic. Megan, where can people find you? How can people follow you? Give us your Instagram handle.
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is at Megan Joelle Leach. So that's MEGANJOELLELEACH. I know it's really long. It's because I have a really common.
Don't worry.
I have a really common name, so everything else was taken. So I chose my entire name for my handle. Yeah, catch me on Instagram. I'm reachable, and as you can see, I'm a really open person. So I like to meet new people, and I like to talk to people. So if people are like need some motivation, hit me up. I'm here. That's why I wanted to do this with you guys. Like, I think Dubai is an awesome place, but I do know that we're all going through a lot of different things right now. So I feel like I can help people.
Awesome. I'm sure you certainly can.
Excellent.
Well, there we have it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We're really appreciating the support, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But more importantly, I hope you learned something from it, and I hope you all implement some of the ideas and suggestions from Megan. Just a little side note: we've opened or started an Instagram page at Dubailife Podcast. So it's very new, but we'll be sharing some clips from the shows and more about our guests and what we've got coming up. So it would be really great if you could all go on Instagram. And yeah, anything else to add, Richard?
No, excellent. Really enjoyed it. I thought Megan was excellent. She's like got a lot of energy and vibe into me now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to start walking around my garden.
I think we need to end with a dance. Let's end with a dance.
Walk
Everybody
and
dance.
And a video. We're going to post
Megan, hit, and this will shock Liam as well. I used to live in Cuba, and I can dance salsa. Not very well. Give me a mop. I am the best salsa dancer with a mop you've ever seen. Give me a lady to dance with. Her toes are finished, but I can dance salsa.
Love that. On that note, we'll wrap things up. Thanks, guys. Have a great
Bye. Thanks for having me on the show, you guys. You guys have a good day.
Thanks, Megan.
Take care. See you guys. Bye-bye.